Sling TV has something for everyone. It really just depends on what kind of mood you're in. But no matter what you're looking for, you can watch it with Sling. Sports, news, and today's hottest shows. Plus, you can explore thousands of movies and TV shows on demand. And getting Sling is easy. Sign up and start watching in just 5 minutes. Stream on any device and record up to 50 hours with your included DVR space. Plus, you won't get locked into a long-term contract. Check out sling.com for special offers. Sling, the TV you love for a price you'll love. Try it today. Welcome to the Andy Staples Show presented by Sling. It is the most wonderful time of the year, Ari Wasserman. It is bowl season. If you're listening to this in podcast form, you're hearing it on Friday morning. There are bowls in mere hours. If you're watching live on the YouTube stream on Thursday as we record this, we're less than 24 hours away from bowl games, from football in the Bahamas, Ari.
Hometown Lenders,
Yes.
Bahamas Bowl.
Yeah.
That needs a new sponsorship, I think. You have any ideas?
Well, I sure do, Ari. That's going to be the Ass Bowl right there. It's going to be the Ass Bahamas Bowl.
It is so funny because my dream vacation, I don't know if it's my dream vacation, but a place that I've been kind of begging my wife to just go with me for a weekend is the Atlantis out there.
Oh yeah, and that is the hotel for the game
because it's just a casino on a small island with
a water park
and a water park and did I say there's a casino in it?
You might have mentioned that.
Can you gamble on sports there too?
You sure can, Ari.
How do you drop a better vacation for me, man?
I've actually never been to Atlantis. I was docked at the dock of Atlantis about, in August. So our cruise ship stopped there. I didn't go in.
So you saw the building from afar?
It's beautiful. My wife has been to Atlantis. She went with one of her friends, and they were with some people. This was 2007. It was Championship Saturday, 2007. And so she calls me. She's like, the people we're with want to know who to bet on. And I'm like, hammer Oklahoma against Missouri in the Big 12 championship game, because I think Oklahoma was favored, but it was only like a touchdown, and Oklahoma had crushed Missouri earlier in that season and was a terrible matchup for Missouri. So I'm like, hammer Oklahoma. And so they all thought I was a genius when really I'm usually wrong on these things.
I'm surprised that you had the confidence to tell anybody to hammer anything with their actual hard-earned cash, because you're usually reserved about that sort of thing.
I was very confident in that particular game because that was the year that Missouri and Kansas were both really good. But having watched the first Missouri-Oklahoma game, like there was no circumstance that was going to allow Missouri to be competitive in that game.
Next time you have that Andy Staples conviction on a game, will you let me know?
I will. It doesn't happen very often.
I know. It seems like it's been, 15 years?
Yeah, exactly.
We're talking about Mizzou in the Big 12 championship game in that story. So
yes, they're not in the Big 12 anymore.
But I got to tell you one thing, Andy. I am very excited that the bowl season's coming back, is starting up, because I'm currently in the phase right now where I'm putting wagers on college basketball games where I can't name a single player on either team just to get me through the night. And on Wednesday night, I bet on Maryland against UCLA, who was a 2-point favorite.
Don't tell me you bet on Maryland.
And I watched the first 5 minutes of the game, and it looked like Maryland has never played basketball before, and I think they lost by 50.
Yes. Maryland's not great in the first half. Like Tennessee jumped all over them the game before, and then Maryland came back, and then UCLA just destroyed Maryland the whole time.
Well, you know more about Maryland basketball than I do, just based on
only because my other job at SiriusXM, all of the producers went to Maryland, so they were very excited going to the UCLA game, very downtrodden coming out of it.
Yeah, that's hilarious because it was just the final score was 87-60, which is not at all what the game was. So I need some football back in my life because I can't keep placing blind wagers on games just because I want to watch something on TV.
You are going to get it, Ari.
Because that's all bowl season is, right?
Yes.
It's just a gambling opportunity.
Well, it's a gamble for sure, because you know how bad we are at this normally. We're going to be pathetic at this because we don't know who's motivated in this first week. These are teams we don't cover that much. We watch their games when we can, but we don't cover these teams that much. We don't have expert analysis for you here. Like, And I realize somebody maybe the people who always complain that we have too many asides on this show. When I say that we don't have expert analysis for you, they're like, well, what do you call yourselves college football experts and you can't break down the 2 deep for Miami, Ohio?
I know
I don't know
that
how to
they've
break
got
this to you, but
more
most
opt-outs
people
than
can't.
roster spots. Yeah, I mean, there's certain, if you're looking for intense analysis of a Mac program, that I suggest finding that team's fan site, because that's probably where.
Hustle Belt, baby. Hustle Belt on SB Nation. That's where you go.
So, but I do know that they have a ton of opt-outs, and I know that UAB's running back, Dwayne McBride, is one of the best running backs in the country.
There you go.
I also know that Blaine Gabbert's younger brother plays quarterback for Miami, but won't be playing in this game.
He got hurt. Then he entered the transfer portal. Then he decided to come back to Miami of Ohio.
And now is not playing.
Right.
So that's, I mean, I bet you we knew just those two sentences alone are probably more than what 95%. It was
more than you knew.
Yes.
Exactly.
So, like, you know, if you didn't know that, then you know what, you're in the right place. But
our what to watch for, presented by Sling, by the way, is the Bahamas Bowl, Miami of Ohio against UAB. Ari, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time.
And I'm going to bet it.
On ESPN.
I'm going to bet it. Yeah. I've got my wife's holiday work party on Thursday night, and those get usually pretty rowdy.
Yeah.
So my plan is to go out and have a good time, you know, relax a little bit in the last night out for me before the early signing period begins, and then wake up tomorrow and lay in bed while watching these games, because Friday is my unofficial day off.
You're going to be hungover, and this game starts at 10:30 a.m.
10:30, perfect
time.
You know what time
amazing.
Domino's opens? 10:30. So let's ride.
Oh, cheesy bread. Somebody's going to put cheesy bread on your doorstep. You will open it and then return to bed and then watch UAB and Miami of Ohio. And the whole time you're watching, hopefully you will be dreaming of what we will be doing when we run this bowl next year. Because, yeah, the hometown lenders, I'm sure you're a fine sponsor. You're not as good as Popeyes, the original sponsor of this game. You never will be. We understand that we never will be. But we'll be a better sponsor than you, and we'll be a better sponsor than that one giant office park outside O'Hare that sponsored it that one year. So,
hometown lenders is just a mortgage company.
Exactly. And I don't think it's my hometown. I think it's
definitely
probably
not the people in the Bahamas' hometown.
Somebody else's hometown. Well,
the only hometown I know about is Hometown Buffet. Do they still have those?
I don't think they exist anymore.
Those were badass back in the day.
That does seem like a type of place you would enjoy. Yeah, I was a fan of all of those buffets. Ryan's, Golden Corral, still around.
But Hometown Buffet was a step up from those.
Old Country Buffet in my part of the world was the equivalent to Hometown Buffet.
Old Country Buffet still exists in like those TA travel or truck stops, don't they?
Yeah, I feel like that's not the same thing. That's sort of like the Kenny Rogers Roasters being in Malaysia. Like that, it's not quite the same.
All I know is that Hometown Buffet was like $17, which was high quality.
Oh yeah,
and I once left there so pulverized I couldn't drive my own car home.
I got one better for you. When I was, I don't remember exactly what the cutoff was for the Shoney's breakfast buffet, the age cutoff. I want to say it was like 12. And so my mom bought a child's buffet for me when I was 10, and they asked us to leave. They're like, that kid's not under 12. He can't possibly eat that much.
I mean, even if you were eating a ton, like, is it really worth having you leave? Like, even if you had like 10 more plates more, like it's scrambled eggs under a heating lamp. Like what is it that you're doing to hurt the business?
Well, normally today's Andy would say, I will never frequent this establishment again. You'll never get another penny of my money. I'm not going to lie. I went to the Shoney's breakfast buffet a ton after that.
What is the fattest thing you've ever done? Like the thing that you would be like ashamed to admit? Because I have a really fat moment, I'll tell you.
I've never been ashamed of any of this.
Well, there's something I did that I'm ashamed of.
You start, and then I will blow them away with several different.
Well,
things.
Mine's not quantity.
Okay, go for it.
You know, I'm not
like something out of garbage.
Yeah,
you are a raccoon. You really are.
Not like public garbage, but I had a roommate. Okay, and he had Raising Cane's, and he only ate like 2 chicken fingers out of the 4.
Yeah.
and the entire pizza toast was there, and it was on the top of it was in the garbage in our house, but it was on the top. And I was starving, and we had no food, and it was like 11 o'clock, and I opened up his Gaines and ate all of it.
All right, I probably did that Tuesday. Like, I have no shame.
I mean, that's embarrassing. I ate out of the trash.
Box. Like, the tenders were still in their box. There's nothing embarrassing about that. That's fair game.
Like, you know who eats out of the garbage can?
Me.
And I also once got Taco Bell back in like 10 years ago as an appetizer with my buddy on the way to pick up Pizza Hut.
that sounds like something teenage Andy would have done.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's hear your
all right. So Brandon Simmons in the chat is asking, back in the day, how much Popeyes could you eat, Andy? I used to eat a 6-piece family meal for me in college, large red beans and rice and large mashed potatoes. I will say 2 years ago. So yes, 2 years ago. So I was covering the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, and the Popeyes on Canal Street is a special place for me. When I was a college freshman and was on a team that played in the Sugar Bowl, I was not aware that we got per diem for the entire week. And so they hand me an envelope full of cash, and they're like, yeah, this is for meals. And it was a lot of money to me at the time. It was like $300. And so naturally, a lot of the players, knowing, who've done this before, knowing they're going to provide us every meal anyway, they go to Ruth's Chris with it the first night. I'm like, I got to save some of this. I'm going to buy books when I get home for the second semester. So I ate every meal that we didn't have provided for us at the Popeyes on Canal Street. So I wanted to kind of just some memories and celebrate. And so 2 years ago, I got an 8-piece for myself with red beans and rice. And I think I did the fries instead of mashed potatoes, but I ate it all. So you asked for fat moments. You ready?
And it's not always about quantity. It's also could be about despicable things that you've done. Like my buddy ate a cupcake. My buddy, for instance, this is his fattest moment. I won't tell you his name because he's embarrassed by it. But his defense mechanism for not overeating is by throwing something away so that it's not in his house anymore. And he took a cupcake and threw it into the public dumpster behind his apartment complex.
Okay, if he went back
a few hours later, he went back into the dumpster, got the cupcake, and ate it.
That's just stupid. That's just poor planning.
But that isn't quantity. Like, you could say I had 19 number ones at Burger King in one sitting. Like, that's fine. But like, deplorable fat moments don't always have to be about quantity. It can also just be deplorable.
But for me, it is about quantity. Yeah. I've already said anything that's on the top of the trash is fair game. Anything that's in the box in the trash is absolutely fair game.
I just don't know what kind of psychopath throws away chicken fingers.
Exactly. Now, have you ever eaten a pickle off of a room service tray that somebody left out after they were done?
I have not. And that's also like the least desirable thing on the plate.
Gosh, if you've had a few drinks and you're coming back to your hotel room and somebody puts their room service leftovers out there.
At what point does
untouched dill pickle? That's fair game.
Have you ever eaten anything else off of someone else's room service tray?
Yes, like an untouched chicken finger or some fries. Absolutely.
I've never done that, but I also
left it out there.
But I've also never. I don't think I've ever seen such a bountiful haul of untouched
what
food.
People don't eat when they order room service, because a lot of times they've been working all day and they're tired, so they just fall asleep and they're ready to go to bed. So they realize they've over ordered and they just leave it out there, or they're drunk and didn't really eat much and realized that they ordered too much and they just leave it out there. So it's fine. But I'll give you a couple. So in high school, when my mom would come home from work, sometimes she'd stop by Long John Silver's and she'd say, do you want your usual? My usual was 10 chicken planks and what they called fries for 4.
Dude, and those are heavy. Dude, those chicken planks at Long John Silver's, it's been a long time since I've eaten there, but I know that the batter that they put those in, it's not lightly breaded. Those are heavy.
It's the fish batter.
Yeah,
it's batter essentially. It's delicious.
I think one plank of chicken, though, is probably the equivalent of 2 normal fingers.
Yeah, so I would eat 10 of those and what they called fries for 4, which was basically 4 medium fries, all in one bag.
And that was your Mountain Dew days too, right?
That was my Mountain Dew days. Oh, and by the way, that would be, she'd get home from work about 5. I'd eat that and then probably eat again at like 8 o'clock that night. So
That's
like
yeah,
my son was trying to ask me like, because my son, it was interesting. Today comes home from school and says, I want a salad. Can you make me a salad? I'm like, heck yeah, absolutely. That's a great choice. So I made him a salad with some chicken and some cut up apples, and it was delicious. And he's like, and he's never been a salad person. He's like, why have I not been eating this? I'm like, I don't know. We eat a lot of salads in this house and they're available. And so now he's like, oh, I definitely want to do this. I'm like, dude, you are you're doing great. You're making much better choices than I did as a kid. And he's like, well, how bad was it really? I was like, I'll give you an example. After school, when I had my driver's license, I would go to the Wendy's, and they had 99-cent quarter pound double stacks at Wendy's in the mid 90s.
I remember those. Yeah.
4 of those, large fry, large frosty. That was after school at like 2:30
On the way home before you had dinner.
and I would eat dinner. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing that's interesting about and then we'll
I
talk
got
about
one.
football.
I got
Oh,
one.
you got
more.
one more.
I got
Okay,
one
go
more.
ahead.
All right.
Sorry.
So
You're making me feel better about my Canes incident.
I don't even think you could do this anymore because of the price of chicken wings. But in Gainesville, there's a place called Gators Dockside, and they used to have an all-you-can-eat wing night on Monday nights. It was, I believe, $7.95 for all-you-can-eat wings. This was the early 2000s. My wife was in grad school at the time. We went with a bunch of her classmates. And one of the guys who was one of her classmates was an ex-bartender, ex-paramedic. Like, one of those big old dudes. He's not fat, just big old dude, liked to eat. He and I got into a little wing eating competition. We each ate about 75 wings. Then we walked across the street to Cold Stone. I got a large, the gotta have it size, in a waffle bowl with a brownie on top of it mixed in. Ate all that, and then went to the gym and ran 5 miles on the treadmill.
Yeah, I mean, if I did that, I would be dead for the night.
It was amazing. It was delicious too.
It's not just so much what's impressive isn't so much the amount of food that you can eat. It's the activities that you do after the food has been consumed.
But that's why I do it.
But like usually people who eat that much food are in a coma afterward. It's called a carb coma or a food coma for a reason.
Yeah.
Like when I eat that stuff, I'm like, I can't even get up to like tie my shoes at that
That's
point.
The thing. You got to keep moving because I fall asleep after Thanksgiving dinner just like everybody else. Like,
after you ate that Chompy's meal and I'll never forget that you went and covered a game. Like, I don't even know how you were able to do that.
It was corned beef sliders on challah.
6 corned beef sliders. That it must have been a pound of corned beef.
Didn't I also have a corned beef?
And then you had a
sandwich,
corned beef and pastrami mile high sandwich on top of it, and ate both portions of fries on both plates. Oh, and then I think you had a cookie.
I ate Landis's fries.
You ate Landis's fries too, and then you had a cookie. I think.
Yeah,
it must have been 4 pounds of actual food.
It was amazing. It was so good.
But I was going to say, the thing that's interesting about your Long John Silver's days, Andy, is if you actually were to think, like, what is the most unhealthy thing a human being could put in their body?
That's pretty much it.
That's it, right? Like, there's nothing worse on the face of the earth than that in terms of the oil, the breading, the batter, the fries, all that stuff. Like, it's the worst possible meal a person can have.
And I don't do this anymore. And I don't recommend anybody does this, by the way. It's just... like I make much better choices now.
You're a motivational speaker now.
Yeah, you've seen the pictures on Instagram. Like I make better choices now. I like the way I look now. I do not want to go back to the way I used to look. I'm not going to do it. That said, I do work out a lot still. I can still put it away when I need to, but it's not nearly at the volume I used to. All right, we do have to talk about this game, but before we decide who's going to win UAB versus Miami, UAB is a 10.5 point favorite, by the way. I'm feeling pretty good about the Blazers there, but all right, this is going to be the Ass Bowl next year. We are going to raise the money to sponsor this game, and it will be our game.
We have to figure out how much it is. How much is it? Like, I have no concept of how much it costs.
It's in the hundred. It's in the hundred thousands. I don't know if this one for a year would be $1 million. Might be. It is a 3-hour.
Hundreds of thousands. We could start a GoFundMe.
Maybe, yeah. All of our listeners chip in like $10.
$10? What would that be? Yeah, I mean, we could get pretty close to it.
Well, I'm Googling how much does it cost to sponsor a bowl game. I realize I could probably text someone at ESPN who actually is involved in
Well, the
those
funniest
things.
thing about it is that like it's not any more or less pathetic than rich boosters stumping regular fans to donate to the collectives, right?
Exactly. All right, the lowest cost you can expect to pay is about $500,000.
Okay.
So we got to come up with $500,000 to buy the rights to this game. But Ari, think about this. We don't just get the rights to this game. We get the rights to force 2 schools to book a block of rooms at Atlantis. We get ESPN advertising our podcast constantly for days and days and days, and then a full 3.5 hour broadcast, which, by the way, usually they send their A crew or parts of A crews. You know, Desmond usually comes
because they want to go
Miami
to the Bahamas.
Now, unfortunately for them, they're not coming this time because we're going to be the booth. You and I will be the booth for this game.
Could you imagine, like, if we just like called this game and, you know, I had my Hawaiian shirt buttoned down to the middle button because when I'm near the beach,
there will be chest hair.
The hamburger meat flows out. The tarp comes off.
The first ever tarp off booth.
Yeah. You can see my gold Star of David. Everything will fit in right. You know,
Max and Nicole will be working each sideline. They must be clothed. I think they have rules in the Bahamas.
And then we also would do like what game was it? It was the A&M. A&M was playing somebody. Oh, South Carolina, the carnival food booth.
Yes,
except we'll be doing it with beers and Bahama fare.
Exactly. Like we're gonna have to. We'll start a drinking game based on it. I mean,
$500,000 is a lot of money. But
have we ever had an announce crew take part in a drinking game during the game? I feel like this is a bridge we need to cross.
Do you think like if we did come up with something like crazy where we didn't call the game professionally and we just like talked the way that you and I talk and we created a game of like every single time a player does this, you take a shot and like everybody was watching along with us that would catch on and be like a normal way people would want to watch football?
I think there's a certain subset of the population that would like that. It is not a large one.
But it would be better.
Everybody who listens to this show. So let's do it.
Would it just be like kind of the Manning cast where,
yeah,
but they do it like in a fun way. We would do it in our way. And like Vaughn just said in the chat, I can just be like talking about the gambling implications the whole time. Kind of like, well, if you're a gambler here, you might want them to take a 3 to get the game back onto schedule or whatever. Like, they're
pretty sure this is how our guy Big Cat called the basketball games when Barstool had that basketball invitational.
Oh, okay. So,
a month ago.
He's exactly the type of person that would do it the right way. So,
and I'm assuming they're going to call the Arizona Bowl too, because that's their game.
Well, I'm going to make sure I watch that just to get notes and figure if we can, get up enough in this GoFundMe to.
Yeah, we got to do this. So there's all your expert analysis of the Bahamas Bowl. UAB is going to win. UAB is going to cover. There you go.
Well, Miami doesn't have anybody even really playing. Like I think they have like 10 or 11 up. Wait.
Also, they're in the Bahamas. Now this is the problem though, Ari. This is where we run into trouble, because while UAB feels like the more complete group, they want to send Bryant Vincent out on a win before Trent Dilfer comes in and takes over. They're in the Bahamas. What if some people get into it at the Shellfish Bar the night before the game?
You never know. So you're just saying. So
that's
my
why
personal
this
opinion,
is such a gamble.
I'll take the points because in the presence of likely grab ass, having some insurance never killed anyone.
Can we call this the grab ass Bahamas Bowl?
The grab? No, it's the grab dash A period S period.
Oh, the grab ass Bahamas Bowl. The grab ass Bahamas Bowl.
It's my actual goal in life to change the name of this podcast one day to grab ass.
I think we can make that happen. So the other thing is we need to move the kickoff time. 11:30 Eastern's great. I want 8 a.m. Eastern. And other than the players and coaches, nobody went to bed the night before.
Yeah.
Like, that's the rule.
Man, that would be something.
You're just coming off a heater.
Yeah.
And
I'm
into the
actually
booth.
late to calling the game because they couldn't get me away from the craps table.
Yes. Yes. And I'm sitting there with the breakfast buffet, just
never leave
bacon.
the table on a heater.
This is incredible.
Toviano just committed to LSU as expected. Thank you, Catherine B. I almost called you today, Andy, to push this podcast back to the afternoon to go to that announcement ceremony because it was in Arlington. But I had to finish another story, which is why I was late to see you. And but inside baseball.
Well, I am very glad that you did this correctly and came on this show because, first of all, we're probably changing the name of the show to Grab Ass.
Yes.
This will definitely be the Grab Ass Bahamas Bowl next year once we raise $500,000 to buy the sponsorship.
Yeah, we got to figure out a way to do it, though, like to actually do it. Let's put it into action. We said this last year, nothing happened. Now we got to put it into action.
That's right. That's right. It's time to think entrepreneurially. That's not even a word.
So here's my pitch. We can start a GoFundMe
mm-hmm.
for the Grab Ass Bowl.
Okay.
And if we don't get to our goal,
we just throw a giant party.
We either throw a giant party with all that money for all the listeners or donate it to a charity that they decide to donate it to.
I like that even better. That's perfect. That's amazing. Also,
so that way we can't, we can't feel bad about stumping for money because we're actually going to do it for a good cause either way.
Yeah. Also, we need to do our charity drive this year. We haven't really got a chance to plan or talk about it. It's going to be hard to beat the chicken nugget thing when I really thought I was sure I could eat 100 chicken nuggets during the podcast. And boy, was I wrong. But we do need to figure that out, what we might want to do. So if, out there in listener land, let us know because we can do this in the next couple of weeks. I think
we raised a bunch of money for the hunger.
Feeding America last year was fantastic. We did St. Jude the year before. I did St. Jude, and the year before it was go to the charity of your choice. And that's the other thing is, you guys let me know. Did you like pick the charity of your choice, and then you tell us, and we'll broadcast it, or did you like picking one and then trying to get a larger amount of money to? I also
like the Andy eating challenge of $5 for every nugget or something like that. Like that was kind of cool because it makes you overeat, but it's also your element. But also, there's people gambling on how much you can actually eat based on the total number of the thing. That is like, how many Doritos Los Tacos can Andy eat in one sitting? I'll give you $10 for every taco he eats.
Yeah, and we could do something like where I run a mile and you pledge.
No, I want to.
That's not nearly as fun to watch. Like,
I want to get you off course of your fitness journey. I don't want to.
Okay. All right. We'll figure out
how many Long John Silver's planks can you put down now, pal.
I don't even. We have a Long John Silver.
We'll find
10.
one.
It's not 10, so it's not that anymore. Let's find something that's a little smaller that the number might be more impressive.
Yeah, or you could just go $50 a plank.
That's true. We'll figure that out. All right, we got to pause for a second because we have about 19 more games to talk about. But we will be back with more bowl games, more tomfoolery. Again, this is our dumbest pick show ever. You're welcome. We'll be right back. Sling TV has something for everyone. All your favorite shows on your favorite channels, all right at your fingertips. What you watch is up to you. It really just depends on what kind of mood you're in. So if you're looking for sports, Sling's got you covered with pro and college football and basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, golf, racing, and so much more. Sling also has reality TV, so you can keep up with the latest gossip with today's hottest shows on channels like TLC, Bravo, MTV, and more. And don't forget about news. Get up to date with today's most trusted sources like MSNBC, CNN, and Fox News. Feeling adventurous? Explore thousands of movies and shows on demand. So what kind of mood are you in? No matter your answer, Sling has what you need. Getting Sling is easy. Sign up and start watching in just 5 minutes. You can stream on any device, and you can record up to 50 hours with your included DVR space. And the best part, you can pause or customize your subscription at any time. So check out sling.com for special offers. Sling, the TV you love for a price you'll love. Try it today. These days, every potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. You've already used LinkedIn to figure out how to connect to people. Now, use it to find the best job candidate. Add the job, that you're hiring for and the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile and spread the word fast that you're hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and then figure out who you'd like to hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Andy. That's linkedin.com/Andy to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. linkedin.com/Andy. Welcome back. We got more bowl games to talk about. As always, these lines are presented by BetMGM. And this is one that this early in bowl season, we don't usually have one to get excited about. This is first night right out of the gate. UTSA versus Troy in the Cure Bowl in Orlando is a banger, Ari.
Yeah, you got two ranked teams. And I'm very excited to see the future of Jeff Traylor or Jeff Traylor's future. I think he's done a tremendous job with that program, and they've been a tough out ever since he took over. And I'm excited to see them play and what happens for him.
Well, and now Jeff Traylor playing with a heavy heart. I believe his father just passed away, but he's going to coach anyway. This is a game of featuring two coaches that, if you are a fan of a Power 5 type school and you're thinking your team might change coaches at some point, you need to know Jeff Traylor and you need to know John Summerall. John Summerall did a fabulous job in year 1 at Troy, and their defense is nasty. So I cannot wait to see this game.
Because UTSA's offense has been really fun to watch all year too, don't they? They run it up a little bit. So,
well, and Frank Harris coming back for year 7,000, like he's basically a doctor now.
He has a doctorate in putting up points from UTSA. I'm excited to watch this game, and we're going to be making fun of a lot of these games, but I think this one is a non-make fun of game.
Oh, this one's awesome. I'm really excited about this game, just in terms of the pure football of it. And so UTSA is a 1.5 point dog. I like Troy to cover in this game.
Yeah, you're the immovable object over the unstoppable force.
I think Troy's going to be real tough to score. And I think Troy was challenged very thoroughly in the Sun Belt this year. And to win that league was not easy.
Yeah. And Troy has 4 guys missing this game, and UTSA has 7. So that's also something that you can, toss into it.
Now we go to perhaps the most awkward bowl game
in the history of bowls.
Yes. Cincinnati against Louisville from Boston in the Fenway Bowl. So, in case you're keeping score at home, Cincinnati was coached by Luke Fickell. He took the Wisconsin job. Scott Satterfield then went from Louisville, which was going to run him off at some point so they could hire Jeff Brom, to Cincinnati. Louisville then hired Jeff Brom, which they were probably going to do anyway. Everybody got that? We all under
Will you
control
say it
there?
again backwards?
No.
It's an anagram. It works both ways if you say it backwards.
Exactly. Scott Satterfield is Cincinnati's coach. He will not be coaching this game. Kerry Coombs will be coaching the Bearcats in this game. Louisville, working off the staff. I would assume some guys that are going to be at Cincinnati.
Did you know that Wasabi is a cloud storage company? Because I just thought Wasabi, the spicy stuff you get with sushi, was sponsoring the game. I didn't know.
I did too. I did too. I thought it was like a green lump of spicy stuff.
Yeah, it's because the logo is also a green lump.
Yeah.
Which also is awkward. So, yeah, man, they should just call this the Wasabi Awkward Bowl. I'm excited to watch it too, let's be honest. I'm excited to watch all of them. But it is. Has there been a time in the past where a coach has left a team for another team and been the coach of the other team in the bowl game? Not that he's coaching the game, but has left the team for the bowl opponent?
I don't think so. And so I believe there's only 3 full-time assistants left at Louisville at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Josh Stepp, Mark Ivey, and Greg Gasparotto is all is left.
Yeah. Cincinnati beating the team.
How's Louisville favored in this game? Honest question. Malik Cunningham's he's already declared he's gone. He's not coming back. Are we sure about this?
Aren't there like 8 guys from Cincinnati that entered the portal though?
Yeah, that's true. But Louisville's got the same problem of opt-outs, going pro, portal. It's kind of a little mishmash.
But also, yeah, both quarterbacks are not playing too. Like Cincinnati's quarterback is out, so
yeah,
Ben Bryant's not playing. Which
yeah,
Molly Cunningham is neither. But Louisville's had to play a few games this year without him, right? So maybe that's part of it.
I guess. I don't know. So if you're gonna get some points anyway, take the Bearcats. They're a 1.5 point dog. Take the Bearcats.
I do think it would be hilarious if the program that hired away the coach that was going to get fired or run off eventually beat the team that was going to run him off.
Yeah.
Without the coach.
Yeah. It's just crazy. Unbelievable.
Kerry Combs is like a Cincinnati legend, an Ohio legend too. So like, I think that like not so long ago, and I don't know what his career arc is going to be now that he was a defensive coordinator on Ohio State when they lost to Alabama by 100 in the national title game a few years ago. But then returned to Cincinnati afterward and was a high school coaching legend in Cincinnati. Like he wanted to be a head coach for a while. And I don't know if that's in the plans for him anymore because he's getting up there in age, but it'll be a nice opportunity for him to.
He's being retained by Scott Satterfield. So
yeah,
he gets to stay there. By the way, that particular game you mentioned, the Alabama-Ohio State national title game.
That was the tough Borland on Devontae Smith play was in that game.
Yes. One of my favorite tweets of all time. I wish I knew who said it so I could give proper credit. They don't call him Fast Borland.
Yeah, I don't know. And everybody gave Kerry Combs crap for that. And, maybe it was his fault, but like they switched up and there was some confusion. And the design of the play wasn't meant for tough Borland to cover Devontae Smith. But when it happened, the result was exactly what you would expect it to be.
Let's move to the first Power 5 on Power 5 game of this bowl season. And the last one we'll be talking about today. Florida, Oregon State in the Las Vegas Bowl. What is left of Florida versus most of Oregon State in this game, which is why Oregon State is a double-digit favorite.
Yeah, what's going on with Florida?
This is the roster flip that maybe should have happened last year that is happening now.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson. I saw. Oh, by the way, can I say something? Because I feel a little bit vindicated.
By all means.
I lost the Heisman vote because I bet on your show on Anthony Richardson to win the Heisman. But I saw, and I don't know if I'm giving away premium information here, but I saw Todd McShay's latest mock draft. Mm-hmm. Have you been paying attention? I mean, you're prospect to pros. You got to be paying attention. He had.
I know exactly where Todd had Anthony. Yeah.
Number 11.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. I can tell you right now, that's not going to happen.
It could, right?
I mean, if somebody's just completely in love.
Is he going to go to the combine and just wreck the numbers there?
Oh, he will test off the charts.
Yeah, when he tests off the charts, that could happen.
Somebody's going to fall in love, but I think the extent of falling in love is like bottom of the first round.
No, I know, but first round draft picks or a draft pick out of what he has potential wise.
I know.
I think is the beauty and the fault of the NFL in general.
It's a huge, because if we're going to bet long term on the career arc, like without a single really productive college season, you're not real confident that he's going to wind up being a productive NFL quarterback.
And if you take him at 11, that means that you are married to having him start you for at least a year and a half.
You're probably starting him year one.
So I'm writing a story, or I wrote a story before we started this, which caused me to be 10 minutes late. Again, I apologize. About a 3-star prospect named Mac Howard, who's from Mississippi and going to Utah. And I thought it was interesting because you don't really see a lot of quarterback from Mississippi to Utah transactions.
Not usually,
and I was talking to him about what made Utah work for him, and then he gave me in touch with his personal quarterback coach who runs an organization called QB Country, which you may have heard of.
Oh, absolutely.
His name was David Morris.
Yep, I know David.
He was a backup for Eli Manning at Ole Miss, but has coached like 13 NFL quarterbacks and coaches at Arch, and he knows a lot about quarterbacks. And basically, what he said to me was, there are times where you'll watch a football game and you'll say, "Wow, that quarterback is the best player on the field right now." But then you'll also say in the same breath, "But the quarterback on the other team is the best quarterback on the field," right? There's like freakish tendencies and athleticism that a person can illustrate that makes you confident that they can form into something like a Cam Newton, right? Just based on what they can do at the combine. And I think that is almost replacing what we have at our disposal, which is just the film, right? So like if you watch Anthony Richardson film, that doesn't really match up with what you would expect to see out of a person that's taken with the number 11 overall pick in the NFL draft. But we are so obsessed with measurables that we just forget that there's such thing as a good quarterback that doesn't have those measurables.
Exactly. It's the same reason CJ Stroud might get taken ahead of Bryce Young. And now measurables will have a lot to do with that because of the size factor.
But I would say that would be the opposite. Like you would take CJ Stroud over Bryce Young because of CJ Stroud's arm and tape.
Which one's
Bryce
better?
Young,
Which one's better at football?
Bryce Young, without question.
That's who you should take first then.
So, but like, why would you take why, if you're an NFL GM, would you take CJ Stroud? Because of the game film or because of
he's bigger?
Because
that's why they will take him because he's bigger.
Yeah. But like, but who would have a more impressive combine? Because CJ Stroud isn't overly athletic.
CJ Stroud's going to make some beautiful throws on the pro day.
He will. Beautiful. But I think that like Bryce Young is going to do better in the cone drill and the 40-yard dash and some of the things that get you. I mean, all the stuff that we already know. Like if you've ever like walked next to CJ Stroud, he doesn't ooze with athleticism. He just has a great arm. And I think part of the reason why he struggled in some of these big games is because he is just a quarterback who's reliant on the people around him. And he's, I mean, probably got the best arm of any quarterback who's ever played in Ohio State history. The throws he makes are insane. Yeah. And I think he's worthy of a top 10 pick. But like I would take Bryce Young just based on watching the tape. You know what I mean? Like why wouldn't, like if I were an NFL GM, I would be like, make your decisions off of the tape, not off of the combine, unless the combine numbers are alarming. And I don't know how we got into this conversation, but like there is a difference between potential based on measurables and what they're actually good at, you know? And like Tom Brady, is he a freak?
No, absolutely not. Josh Allen is, though. Lamar Jackson is.
Yeah, Josh Allen.
Patrick Mahomes is.
Yeah. So maybe that's different now. Maybe the NFL is changing where you have to be a freak to be a great quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So
like Mac Jones isn't.
No, he's not. And we don't know if he's a good quarterback yet because he has a defensive coordinator and a special teams coordinator calling his plays. He might actually get a real offensive coordinator.
How did that happen? How did that even happen? Just because they needed to find a spot for him?
I don't know who it was, whether it was a PFT commenter or Big Cat who said on Pardon My Take that Bill Belichick is just turning up the difficulty level on his Madden game.
Yeah, that's... But
I know. I'm going to do this without a real offensive coordinator and just see how it goes.
Yeah, but Matt Patricia is like a longtime Patriot assistant, right? So like he probably loved him so much that they just put him onto the...
He's a rocket scientist. Sorry.
Joe Burrow isn't? Is Joe Burrow a freakish athlete? I think you could make the case that
Joe Burrow is a very good athlete.
Yeah, I don't think that he's not in the Tom Brady family of just awesome.
No.
He's really good. Yeah.
You watched him escape some plays that most people wouldn't escape. So, but you know, this is.
But Justin Fields is
freak. Yeah.
Who's the best quarterback in the NFL that's not a freak besides Tom Brady? Who's
Jimmy Garoppolo? No, I mean, Matt Stafford was a pretty great athlete with a huge arm. Now he's hurt now. But Jared Goff, maybe he's having a good year with the Lions. Daniel Jones is an athletic freak.
Yeah,
he's not having a particularly great year. Jalen Hurts is a freak.
Is Russell Wilson an athletic freak?
Oh yeah.
Kirk Cousins?
Russell Wilson. No, Kirk Cousins is a good athlete, but probably not a complete freak. Now he is shredded, like 6-pack for days. But I don't know that he's. You know, you wouldn't put him next to Josh Allen or Lamar and think he's going to win any races or anything like that or jumping contests.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry for hijacking your podcast.
No. It's fine. Hijack away. More people will watch the NFL draft than will watch the Las Vegas Bowl. So I think Florida's only chance in this game is if they get the Ben Gulbranson who doesn't throw very well now. That happened against Oregon and they still won anyway. But Florida's going to need to create some turnovers in this game. The one
Jack Miller starting for Florida, right?
I'm excited to Ohio State signing. Yep. So now the one thing, Jack Miller could be really good. He was a blue chip recruit. We have no idea. He's barely played. He barely played at Ohio State. He has not played at Florida because he got hurt in camp. But the best player on the field in this situation is going to be Trevor Etienne. So perhaps that helps. But remember, Osiris Torrance also not blocking for Trevor Etienne in this game. So
does 10 seem like a lot to you?
Not in this game. 10 seems like too little. Omar Spates and company at the Beavers defense could feast depending on how this goes. But it's also a situation where like Gervon Dexter's playing in this game for Florida. Gervon Dexter's a top 100 pick.
What
in
are
the
these
NFL
top
draft.
100 players that are not playing yet for Florida who are going to play for the first time going to match up with Oregon State? That's what's always so hard about this, because like bowl games in general are just turning into showcases for the future.
Well, but Dexter's not one of these guys. Dexter is a top 100 pick in the 2023 NFL draft.
Yes.
Who probably would have been better in college if he'd had anything around him. But also, guess who's first on the depth chart in this game and hasn't been most of the season? 440-pound Des Watson.
Yeah.
That knows.
My number one Heisman pick for next year when I don't gamble on it.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
I think that it's also our duty to explain to everybody what each what sponsor does. So SRS Distribution is the largest network of independent distributor brands in the United States.
Yeah, who's going
for roofing and building supplies?
Like, does that make you want to buy that? Like,
I don't. It seems like to me that this would be something that a business would buy and not a consumer.
Are they thinking that there's a bunch of roofers out here watching this game? They're like, well, that'll help my company. I need to switch to them. That's what I always wondered. Like when they had the Lockheed Armed Forces Bowl, or no, the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. That was it. There are two major helicopter makers, Bell and Sikorsky. And like, did Bell Helicopters sponsoring the Armed Forces Bowl cause more orders for Bell Helicopters than Sikorsky? And then someone pointed out to me, it's them as a military contractor doing a solid for the military. That's what that is.
Yes, got it. Okay. I'm trying to think, like, Cheez-It Bowl is perfect because you could be watching the Cheez-It Bowl and watch the cooler full of Cheez-Its getting poured on the coach and be like, God, I wish I could have some of those right now. And it might inspire you to buy them next time you're at the store. But it's always these weird, like wasabi. I don't know. I might go buy some sushi now.
But you're not going to
buy
wasabi. Change your cloud storage partner.
Do actual consumers actually care about cloud storage?
I sure don't.
Is it just like a business thing where if you have a bunch to back up? I don't know enough about it, but
yes, I think that's probably right. All right. Well, we all know the sponsor of this bowl. So we got Washington State versus Fresno State in the LA Bowl, which is the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl presented by Stifel. I don't know what Stifel is, but I know who Jimmy Kimmel is.
Which is the sponsor, Stifel or Jimmy Kimmel?
Yes.
Stifel. It's a diversified global wealth management and investing banking company focused on building relationships that help individuals, families.
They're wealth management. I get what they do. Like I understand what you're doing there. And that is a consumer service.
Yeah, manage your financial future.
Yeah. And then we know who Jimmy Kimmel is. Now, this is my question though. We're getting Jake Haener or Cam Ward on the Jimmy Kimmel show? We're going to need to see Jake Haener on Jimmy Kimmel.
This might be one of the better quarterback matchup bowls that there is, right?
Yep.
Based on who's actually playing that's not in the playoff anyway.
Yeah. No, I like this game. I think it's going to be fun. This is one of those potential to melt your face kind of games. Washington State is a 3.5-point dog.
What's the total? It's got to be in the 60s, I bet.
I will check. I am not betting against Jake Haener, though, in his what appears to be his final college game. I actually think he is out of eligibility. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
The over-under is 54.5. I think I like the over here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, take the over. 100%. This might be quintuple overtime, too. I'm ready for this.
So, yeah, right. I think Fresno State's to play here because there are 7 players not playing for Washington State and only 1 not playing for Fresno State. So,
all right, rock and roll with the Bulldogs. Let us move on to the Lending Tree Bowl. So we have another money lender, another mortgage company.
There's a lot of people who need some cash, huh?
That's right. Southern Miss, a 6.5-point favorite against the Rice Owls, playing in their first bowl game in a long, long time. This will be one of the all-time great pregame meetings between the coaches, like good old boy meetings. Mike Bloomgren, offensive line coach, originally from Tallahassee, Florida. Will Hall, son of a legendary Mississippi high school coach. These are two people that call everybody coach. It'll be like coach, 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 coach. That's going to be the whole meeting.
Who do you got in the game?
I'm taking the Eagles.
Yeah. Because they got a pretty good running back, right?
They sure do. They
Very
sure
recognizable name.
do. Yeah, we might have heard of him, Frank Gore.
Yeah, Frank Gore Jr.
I saw
207 carries, 1,053 yards, and 7 tutties this year.
I
That's
saw
right.
his first game because Southern Miss played the first FBS on FBS game of the pandemic year. Southern Miss, South Alabama. I covered it in Hattiesburg, and that was Frank Gore's first game as a college player. And I felt extremely old watching him out there.
He's pretty good. I think the reason why he's not at the Power 5 levels because he's only 5'7", I think, or 5'8".
Yeah,
He's short.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
All right, we move on to the New Mexico Bowl. SMU and BYU. SMU is a 5.5-point favorite here. BYU did not have the season they wanted to have. That defense is not very good. SMU's offense, pretty good. So
the New Mexico Bowl is sponsored just by New Mexico. I like that.
Right. It's a tourism thing.
I like that.
Yeah. So BYU has a ton of guys in the portal. Jaron Hall's hurt. Keanu Hill hurt, obviously. I think we got to go with SMU, even though Rashee Rice is hurt.
They should take all the players on a Breaking Bad filming locations tour before the game, don't you think?
I would absolutely love that.
I've done it before.
This is where they rolled the barrel of cash through the desert. This is where Huel laid on top of the pile of money. This is where
have you ever been to the 505? It's called the Burke. Have you been there?
Only sitting in the airport one time.
It's it's a neat town. I like it. I went to Los Pollos Hermanos, the actual restaurant.
Nice.
And I ate there, and it still has all the Los Pollos Hermanos stuff up in the dining hall. And like when you're in there, you actually feel like you're in there, but it's actually a burger place called Twister's. Great burger if you're ever in town.
See, I really want the Los Pollos Hermanos menu because it looks really good.
Yeah,
it reminds me of
Gus Fring also put a lot of pride into that thing too.
Absolutely, Gus Fring was very detail oriented.
My favorite thing about
Gus Fring had run Kenny Rogers Roasters as his front, Kenny Rogers Roasters would not only be in Malaysia right now.
Dude, Gus used to get wound up about like the normal day-to-day activities of like understanding the menu and
much more about that than the meth trade.
It did. It seemed like if he would have just given up the meth trade, he would have had a pretty nice restaurant business there.
Yeah, but listen, he had a lot of revenge that he needed to exact on Don Hector and company.
Have you watched the last season? Have you watched Better Call Saul?
I have. I watched the whole thing.
I loved it. I thought that the final season of Better Call Saul was almost as good as the final season of Breaking Bad.
Now, that said, you've made me really want to rewatch the Face Off episode of Breaking Bad. I will say no more than the title of the episode, Face Off. It is one of the greatest last scenes of any show.
You know what's sad about Breaking Bad is that now that we've had the privilege of watching that, is we know that there will never be a better television show for the rest of our lives. What's the point of even consuming it anymore?
It gives us something to do.
If I said, Andy, if you've already eaten the best steak you've ever going to eat, wouldn't that be depressing?
No, because there's always pizza or shrimp or lobster.
Lobster
or burgers. Lobster macaroni. We did have some of that not long ago. All right, Ari, we have to pause one more time, and then we're going rapid fire through the rest of the bowl
this
game.
Has been a really solid show so far. So let's
we've learned nothing, but we've enjoyed ourselves.
Breaking Bad is only like top 5. Get out of here, Andrew.
We'll be right back. These days, Henson Shaving is a family-owned aerospace parts manufacturer that has made parts for the International Space Station and the Mars rover. Well, now they're bringing that precision engineering to your shaving experience. If you're watching on the video feed right now, here is a Henson Shaving razor. It looks decidedly old school, but as you just learned, it has some high-tech stuff in there. Razor blades are like diving boards. The longer the board, the more the wobble. The more wobble, the more nicks, cuts, and scrapes. A bad shave isn't a blade problem. It's an extension problem. But by using aerospace-grade CNC machines, Henson makes metal razors that extend just 0.0013 inches, which is less than the thickness of a human hair. That means it's a secure and stable blade with a vibration-free shave. And they're exactly right. Seriously, Henson Shaving wants the best razor, not the best razor business. That means no plastic, no subscriptions, no proprietary blades, and no planned obsolescence. The Henson razor works with standard dual-edged blades to give you that old school shave with the benefits of new school tech. Once you own a Henson razor, it's only about $3 to $5 per year to replace the blades. It's time to say no to subscriptions and yes to a razor that will last you a lifetime. Visit hensonshaving.com/Andy to pick the razor for you and use the code Andy, and you'll get 2 years worth of blades free with your razor. Just make sure to add them to your cart. It's 100 free blades when you head to hensonshaving.com. That's hensonshaving.com/Andy and use the code Andy. That's hensonshaving.com/Andy. Welcome back. We go near Ari. Ari, you can drive to this one. North Texas and Boise State in the Frisco Bowl. The Broncos are 10.5-point favorites. News out of Boise State on Wednesday. Bush Hamdan, former Bronco himself, coming back to Boise State as the offensive coordinator. He's been at Missouri. If you watched Missouri at the end of the season, if you watched that Missouri-Arkansas game where the Tigers won, Bush was calling some plays in that game. So get excited about that. This is the end of this season in the Frisco Bowl in Dude Perfect's town. Who you got? North Texas already fired his coach, by the way, and hired a new coach.
And Hank Bachmeier's not playing. He's in the transfer portal.
Very much so. But North Texas fired Seth Luttrell already. So this is the
people were upset about that, weren't they?
Yes and no. It was the feeling was it had kind of run its course. They're moving to the American, so they wanted to have a new voice. Eric Morris is coming in. Eric Morris, Kingsbury guy. He was on Cliff Kingsbury's initial staff at Texas Tech. He was the head coach at Incarnate Word, which is playing for the FCS title. Now he wasn't there, but this is a lot of the team that he built. GJ Kinney is the Incarnate Word coach right now, and he's actually already been hired to be the new Texas State coach. Everybody confused yet? But Eric Morris was the offense coordinator at Washington State this year. He's the one. He coached Cam Ward at Incarnate Word, and Cam Ward came to Washington State to play for him. So none of those people involved in this game, though. This game will be the Boise State team that fired its offensive coordinator early in the season, then got things figured out, and actually wound up being a pretty good team against a North Texas team that was kind of okay.
I don't know how people consume everything you just said. I blacked out halfway through it. There's so much information there.
Also, no sponsor on the Frisco Bowl unless it's just the town of Frisco.
It's the town of Frisco. It's the Jerry Jones visit. Bowl.
It is. That is where the Cowboys practice facility, the Star, is. And
is that where they play the game in the Star?
No, they play it at Toyota Stadium, which is where they play the FCS championship game.
That was a really stupid question because the Star has very few seating. But
right now they do play high school games in the indoor part of the Star. They have seats, but no, this apparently there's a lot of tickets still available. So if you would like to go see the game, Ari, I think you could probably get in.
Okay.
So I'm gonna take the Broncos. Let us move to a more famous stadium because it has teal turf. The Myrtle Beach Bowl, which is not actually in Myrtle Beach, is in Conway, South Carolina. Marshall is a 10-point favorite against Jim Mora's UConn Huskies. Ari, the Huskies have already won just by making it to a bowl game. But what if they actually won this bowl?
I'm taking 10 here. They're fired up.
I think you should.
Yeah.
If we're playing the who wants to be there game with teams in bowl games, they want to be there.
Yeah, Marshall already won its bowl game this year, and I think it was in Indiana at some point.
Yeah, I believe it was. It was South Bend. There was a painting of Jesus watching over the stadium, going, "What is going on?"
It was the Christ Bowl. Yeah, I think that. Let me ask you this: is Jim Mora? Do you view him differently as a coaching candidate elsewhere after this?
See, I actually thought Jim Mora was a pretty good coach at UCLA. I thought he was good at. Now, remember, Jim Mora got dudes at UCLA.
He was a good recruiter. Yeah.
Very good recruiter. Now, Adrian Klim was very helpful in that. Adrian Klim now at Oregon. But that was a good staff that some of those teams had, I would like to see them play again now.
There was a lot of miracle working in college football this year, man.
Yeah. Well, UConn in a bowl game is a miracle. So
Kansas in a bowl game?
Absolutely. We're not talking about that one yet. That's a next week's
saying.
preview. Oh
I'm
yeah.
saying, like, there's been a lot of turnarounds in quote unquote hopeless situations.
Yeah. Also, by the way, no sponsor here except, Visit Myrtle Beach, which if you haven't visited Myrtle Beach,
I've never been there.
Oh, Dirty Myrtle is spectacular. It is one of the all-time great trashy beach towns in America.
So it's a trashy beach town, but there's also very expensive parts of it, right? I thought like playing the golf courses there and staying in the resorts there is an expensive.
You're thinking of Hilton Head. That's down near Charleston.
No, I thought that Myrtle was kind of expensive at places.
Some golf courses and some. It's expensive because it's on the water, but like
it's
if
trashy.
You're looking for a little bit different. If you're looking for the vibe you're thinking of,
nobody's going to be stopping you for bringing a can of Bud Heavy onto the beach there.
Exactly. You're in the wrong part of South Carolina if you're looking for the classy vibes, because that's all down there.
No, I'm looking for trashy vibes.
Okay, yeah, exactly. You're thinking Shrimp Shack on the beach. Those guys with the trucks with I think they call it the Carolina lean, where the cab of the truck is pointed basically at a 45-degree angle toward the sky, and the bed is like 2 inches off the ground.
I saw a meme. I think I said this on the show before, but maybe I didn't. So I want to make sure I do. That said, if you ever go to Europe, and you go to a place like France or Italy, and you see all the like establishments that are near the water, they all have like these like nice formal names like La Hacienda and whatever you can come up with.
I don't know that formal in their language.
I don't know what it is, but like they seem like elegant and formal.
It was called the house, basically.
And like in America, all the beach towns have like Joe's Clickety Clack, ball sack, shrimp stand. You know what I mean?
House of boobs and wings.
Yeah, and it's like, and you go to everything's elegant and pretty, and you go to South Carolina and you've got Tim's Big Rod. Tim's Big Rod Lobster and bait and tackle. I don't know.
You're turning the restaurant into a Big Johnson t-shirt.
I don't know. Good like Lord. You know what I'm talking about? Like what these places are called. Like the
Ari, I grew up going to Daytona Beach. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's just so funny to me. Like America is just a great place.
God bless America. But God bless Chris Creighton, Eastern Michigan coach, another miracle worker who never pops up on these lists when coaches are going for bigger jobs. Eastern Michigan is a 4.5-point underdog to San Jose State in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. This bowl is sponsored by potatoes, Ari. Like legit potatoes.
It's just a potato bowl.
Yeah. They want you to buy Idaho potatoes and not potatoes from somewhere else.
What percentage of potatoes in like a grocery store come from Idaho? It's pretty high percentage, isn't it?
Great question, Ari.
Because I actually looked up an answer for what percentage of chicken that you eat comes from a Tyson factory, and it's very high too. Or a Tyson plant.
Oh, someone else has Googled this very recently. 1/3 of the U.S. of the potatoes in the U.S. They lead the nation in potato production.
So let me ask you this, famous Idaho Potato Bowl. If I wanted to be like, you know what? I appreciate your sponsorship so much of this bowl game that I am, in fact, only going to buy potatoes that originated in the great state of Idaho. How, as a consumer who just goes to the grocery store and buys potatoes off of the stands that are in the store,
on the sticker.
You have to like inspect the sticker and be like, if this isn't from Idaho, I'm not buying this.
Is it that hard for you to pick up a potato and look at the sticker?
I've never looked at a sticker. I just grab it and put it in the bag and put it into my cart. Like I've never.
That's grocery store grab ass. Are you need?
Is that what you look at? You look at the sticker of where all your produce comes from?
No, but you asked. That's how you find out.
So, but also, they want me to appreciate.
If you go to a Five Guys, they will tell you what farm the potatoes that are making your fries are from.
But they're not always from Idaho, though, are they?
Every time I've been there, it's been from Idaho, but I don't know.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe I'll give it more thought. I just know that organic is a scam, right? Is organic a scam where you just have to pay $1 more for every product that you have?
I couldn't tell you, Ari. I don't know. If my wife tells me buy organic, it's because she wants it that way, and I buy it, and I don't ask questions.
I just buy there's like bananas and then organic bananas, and they're right next to each other.
They're much smaller and more expensive.
Yeah, and it's just like what is it that I'm paying for here? They don't have pesticides. Is that what it is?
Pesticides, possibly lack of hormones. I don't know.
But I think I read a story somewhere that organic actually isn't always what it means.
Probably
they abuse the word now. So
are you saying that people might actually use a word convince you to spend more money, and that is not entirely on the up and up.
It's like if you say
that never happens.
Only eat organic foods and you have a lower percentage of catching cancer. Like, okay, then I'll pay the extra $1. But I just want to make sure that what I'm buying is actually better.
I don't think this podcast where we very poorly pick bowl games is the kind where you're going to find any empirical data on that. So I'm just going to say,
well, you say the best thing about this podcast is going into my mind. What about the alkaline water? It's a scam.
Okay, I'm glad you feel that way. You know, it's not a scam. Brent Brennan, they're covering. San Jose State's covering in this game. All right, Western Kentucky and South Alabama in the New Orleans Bowl. I believe that is the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. Yep, trucking company. We know what you do. And your guys stop at not Buc-ee's because they don't allow trucks, but Love's.
But you forgot one.
Pilot. What did I forget?
You forgot that the Liberty Toledo game. Roofclaim.com, Boca Raton.
Right. I'm sorry. The roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl. Liberty versus Toledo. The Rockets are a 4.5-point favorite. Jason Candle still there. The Toledo Rockets, by the way, your reigning MAC champions. Liberty, Hugh Freeze has already gone to Auburn. Jamie Chadwell on the way in.
I think that's a very apt thing to say. Reigning.
They just won, yeah.
No, I'm just saying it's a roofing replacement company
that's
sponsoring the podcast. And when we first bought our house, there was a huge rain puddle or leak in our roof.
Oh,
and I had a stage 5 meltdown, and we had somebody come look at it, and it was actually just like a pipe that was leaking or something, and they fixed it, and it hasn't done it since. But the roof replacement thing should be covered by insurance, so I'm glad this bowl game exists.
By the way, I should have been in the chat while we were talking about the organic stuff. Catherine B says she's going to send you the regulations, which are very specific. Vaughn, who we met in Vegas and know is a farmer, says the labeling on food is misleading. Hopefully Vaughn is on his tractor as we speak.
Dude, Vaughn is a legend. He's my favorite
Vaughn
dude.
is amazing. So Vaughn often watches this podcast while on his tractor, which it does my heart good. Like, I don't know. I appreciate every single one of you giving us your time and hanging with us through the whole year. I mean, because we're on all the time. But the fact that Vaughn is in his tractor and gets a push notification that we're coming on YouTube, and he's like
plugging away.
Got to make sure that I watch these idiots. Like, that makes me so happy.
I got really buzzed off of Hennessy, which I tried for the first time while I was in Vegas. Tashawn Reed, our Raiders writer, made me try it or had me try it, and I was sitting next to Vaughn.
Do anything? I was right there.
He didn't make me. He urged me to try it, so I tried it. And Vaughn and I got into a very heated and passionate discussion, positive, no argument, about investing and how to invest the right way with Tashawn. And I appreciated that conversation. That's what you get when you come to our live shows.
Breaking news, Vaughn is currently in the tractor.
I am.
This is amazing.
Dude, I want send some pics or something. I want to see what it looks like.
This is incredible. Yeah, Vaughn, you have my phone number. Just text me.
Yeah.
So this is why I love it. Catherine and Vaughn now discussing what
people
Vaughn raises.
This is this podcast. People were complaining about organic food, whether Breaking Bad is the best show ever made, sitcoms, and now
also eating in massive quantities.
Yeah.
Here's what we got to do, Ari, to double back to something we talked about earlier. When we raise $500,000 to make it the Grab Ass Bahamas Bowl, all of the listeners are joining us. It's just going to be a giant 3-day party for the listeners of this show at Atlantis. And we're just gonna throw down. And again, we're moving the kickoff time to 8 a.m. You're not allowed to go to sleep the night before. Like, the part, you can sleep in the day before.
Who goes to sleep? There's a casino on the beach there.
That's what I'm saying. You can sleep in the day before, but the party starts at dinner time Thursday night, and it doesn't end until the final whistle, or until one team goes for 2 to avoid overtime because they have a flight to catch. That happened in the first Bahamas Bowl.
Andy, you want to hear before we get out of here, the funniest Ari thing that I think you're going to be amused from?
Oh,
so I went and got a bunch of holiday.
Now you've got my expectations very high.
I got a bunch of holiday presents in the mall
mm-hmm.
for my wife and the baby. and I had to pay money to have them wrap them because I couldn't wrap them. So I've got to go pick up the packages that were
I'm
wrapped.
not shocked by that.
Does
Like if we'd have placed odds on can Ari wrap presents, can Ari wrap presents was like minus
I did
9 million.
feel a little bit bad about it.
You have to bet $9 million to win $100.
Why am I spending money to have somebody else wrap my gifts? But I want it to look nice, and I want them to, have some integrity. So I thought I should do it, but I've got to go get those.
Learn to wrap gifts yourself. There are YouTube videos that will teach you anything.
It sounds terrible.
Instead, you just pay people. All right.
Yeah.
Liberty Toledo in the get your new roof Boca Raton Bowl. Does Lane Kiffin show up here? I know he's got to prepare his team for a bowl game, but I think he still kept his house.
Tom Herman does.
Well, yeah, he's the new coach at FAU. You're right outside his office.
Yeah, I think I like Toledo here. Liberty's got some stuff they've got to figure out. Toledo's going to be happy to be there.
Yeah, a lot of changes
a 5-point favorite. I'm running with Toledo on this one.
I'm with you there. I like that. All right, now we move on to the RNL Carriers New Orleans Bowl. Trucking company, stopping at Love, stopping at Pilot, stopping at Flying J. Western Kentucky, 4.5-point dog to South Alabama. This is actually a matchup of two very good coaches. Tyson Helton's done a really good job there. And you saw Austin Reed coming back to Western Kentucky. He was the second leading passer in the country this year in terms of passing yardage. He entered the transfer portal. The rumor was he was going to go wherever Jeff Brom wound up. And that rumor popped as soon as Jeff Brom goes to Louisville. But then, I believe it was Monday night. Maybe it was Tuesday night.
It was Tuesday.
There's a tweet, and Austin Reed is rolling onto the field at Western Kentucky in a Corvette. And he has signed a new NIL deal to stay at Western Kentucky.
Good for them.
God bless America.
Yeah, good for them.
I think that's great because
I want to know what the Corvette deal was.
No Group of 5 school will ever be able to keep somebody. Well, we just saw it. It just happened. Because I guarantee you there are Power 5 programs that will take Austin Reed right now. But
for sure.
He's good to go. This is a matchup of two very good coaches. Tyson Helton's done a really good job since he's been in Western Kentucky. Kane Womack at South Alabama, rising star, still a young guy. He was with Tom Allen at Indiana when their defense was very good, and Kane was a DC. So give this one a watch, and watch with a critical eye, because you may be learning about a coach that you may be seeing in the carousel very soon. One more. This will take you to next Thursday. We'll do another one of these on Friday to talk about the games after that.
Well, are we going to get progressively more serious, or is it going to be another grab ass episode like this one?
Complete grab ass, even when we talk about the playoff.
Okay.
Maybe we won't talk about the playoff.
Yeah. What's to talk about? We already know who
Baylor
won.
is a 5.5-point favorite against Air Force in the Armed Forces Bowl. I am not picking against a branch of the Armed Forces in the Armed Forces Bowl. Sorry, not happening. No.
What's more un-American, betting against a branch of the Armed Forces in the Armed Forces Bowl, or fading America in the FIFA World Cup?
Fading America in the World Cup, especially the knockout round, is probably just sensible given the history. But didn't Army beat Missouri on a walk-off in this game last year, a walk-off field goal, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not betting against a branch of the Armed Forces.
Dude, I just want the branch of the Armed Forces to have a tie into the Bahamas Bowl. These people are risking their lives for us every single day. Let them go play in the Bahamas.
Absolutely. Well,
where's the Armed Forces Bowl? Where is it?
It's in Fort Worth. It's at TCU Stadium.
Hey, go somewhere with the beach, man. Come on.
Well,
give these guys a break.
We could make that happen, where basically the highest ranked service academy plays in the Grab Ass Bowl. Can we do that? Whoever wins the Commander in Chief's trophy plays in the Grab Ass Bowl.
Does the
Army Navy takes on even more significance because it might be for a berth in the Grab Ass Bowl.
Can you imagine the commentary during the Army Navy game, which is just serious, serious event that means so much to the most important faction of our country, and they're like, and the winner of this game gets to go play in the Grab Ass Bowl.
CBS, so it's Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson.
Yeah, Gary,
say that
dude, $500,000.
Brad, they're playing for that Grab Ass Bowl berth.
Yeah, that's funny. Just like
gotta
the
do
discipline,
this. Have to do
the
this.
the physical strain, the assertive nature in the classroom, the sacrifices that you make personally to
Yes.
be a member of one of those service academy football programs.
Mhm.
And your reward is to play in the Ass Bowl, which everything that we've described
In front of a
about
bunch of
what is
people who've
going,
been in the casino all night
yeah,
because it's the
drinking and
rules.
smoking cigarettes and playing craps are going to go cover your game. That's hilarious.
They have me and Ari in the booth.
We figured it out, man. You know, it took an hour and 15 minutes, but I think we arrived at the destination.
I think we have. So we're just I'll get the GoFundMe page up and everybody dig deep. You know, it's
Don't donate to your NIL, donate to us.
that's right. It's something to be proud of. Vaughn has sent a picture of the tractor. It is snowing a lot.
Can we see it? Just
There are
flip the-
bales of hay. Well, you're gonna have to give me a second to make this happen. But
Oh, I didn't
think
know if it was on your phone.
it is a little more difficult than it should be in StreamYard, but it is possible at some point if I can figure out how to make this happen. But
You got to text Vaughn my phone number.
oh, he doesn't need your phone number.
I liked him.
Vaughn's the man. Now it's not going to happen. Unfortunately, we will not
Tweet it. Just tweet it.
I will tweet it. Yes, I will tweet out the picture of Vaughn's tractor. He's got 2 bales of hay on the front, lots of snow. It is a cold, gray day in Iowa, but that's okay. It's a beautiful day in the Bahamas. There's football there tomorrow, and in a year from now, the Grab Ass Bowl will kick off. We'll talk to you later.